Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today I've got another spoiler-free book review to share with you guys, and today we're talking about The Adult by Bronwyn Fischer. This book comes out in May. I'll put the actual exact date in the description box, but I was able to read this early thanks to NetGalley and the publisher, for which I'm always so grateful. Now, I feel like this review is not going to be very long because, well, first let me back up a bit. One of the things that drew me to request this book was that I saw in the description it said for fans of Sally Rooney, and I've read a few of Sally's books and really enjoyed them. But if you, like me, have read and enjoyed Sally, or even if you didn't enjoy Sally Rooney books, you know that there's not a ton of plot. Not a lot happens, at least not plot-wise. You're kind of dropped into, someone's life, and you get to observe it for a bit of time. And while a lot of things might happen internally, not a lot happens plot-wise. So keep that in mind. If that sounds like something you wouldn't like, then you probably won't like this. But what we have here is a bit of a coming-of-age tale, I guess you would call it. It's about a young woman named Natalie who moves from her small town in Ontario to the big city, Toronto, and she's attending university. She's not entirely sure what she wants to do with her life, but she's happy to be there. She's happy to be out of her small town and experiencing something new for really the first time in her life. So because she doesn't know what she wants to do, she's taking a whole assortment of courses. One of them, the main one that's focused on the most in the book, is a poetry class. Now, I'm trying to think of what can I even really tell you about this? So one day early on in the book, Natalie's at a park. And she's sitting in the park having just left her poetry class, and she's been given an assignment by her professor to go somewhere in nature and try to write a poem about it. So she picks this park, she goes there, she's sitting there. It's the beginning of the school year, so it's like late September, early October. It's getting chilly. She's sitting there, desperately trying to write a poem, and she notices across the park a woman. And this woman's she's an older woman, older than Natalie. I don't know that her age is ever given, but for some reason I'm picturing her as mid to late 30s perhaps. And as Natalie's sitting there trying with all of her might not to stare at this woman, trying to look to her left, to her right, above, but she's very enchanted by her. And eventually, really out of the blue, the woman stands up and starts walking towards Natalie. And Natalie at first thinks maybe she's mistaken her for somebody else, or Natalie has taken her spot. But it turns out the woman just wants to sit with her and talk. And from there, a relationship begins to form rather awkwardly, because Natalie's very awkward. She's this very introverted, quiet girl who's just desperately trying to find her place in anything, in anywhere. She's just trying to find her place. So this relationship begins awkwardly, and over time, it gets very intense for Natalie. It's her first relationship, it's her first love, and she's dealing with a woman who has not only more experience, she's been married, she has a lot more life experience than Natalie does. And she's just sort of wading through the waters, trying to figure things out, trying to be who she thinks this woman wants her to be, trying to be the most interesting parts of herself at all times so as to keep this woman's attention. And it's just a look at this small portion of Natalie's life. I would say it's maybe just a little over a year in her life. And I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I think if I had read this when I was a little younger, because when you're young, if you're not currently young and you're older like I am, you know when you're young and you get swept up in those incredibly intense, all-consuming feelings of meeting someone new and falling in love. If you're still in that sort of part of your life, I think maybe you'd get a lot from this. I've been married for 20 years come October, so you know, I'm in a different part of life at this point, but I think, like, I'm gonna order a copy for my daughter. My daughter's almost 19. I think she would love this. I think she'll relate a lot to the main character. I think she'll just enjoy the story overall. Which isn't to say if you're older you won't like it, because like I said, I enjoyed it a lot, but I think I would have loved it more if I was younger. Yeah, so that's, I know you're thinking, well, you haven't told us really what it's about. That's what it's about. It's what it's about. And let me also say, it's beautifully written. It's beautifully written. It's one of those kinds of books that are just lovely. They're lovely. And yes, again, if you like Sally Rooney, you're gonna like The Adult. I really believe that's a really, really good sort of comparison to make, as I had seen on the book description. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me for today. I know, super quick, but I just wanted to share it with you because I feel like the people that are gonna love this are gonna love it. Love it. And I was looking around on Goodreads. It has no 1 or 2 star reviews, and you might say, well, Shannon, that's because it's not out yet, which is true, but still, you know, it's got a good amount of reviews up already and not a single 1 or 2 stars. So I mean, that tells you it's beautiful, beautifully written. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for the author in the future to see what she writes next. And this is her debut novel, I believe, and it's beautiful. It's something to be proud of for sure. So again, thank you to NetGalley and the publisher for the chance to read an early copy. Check that description box for the date it comes out. Mark your calendars. You better mark them. And I will see you guys again real soon. Bye.